Rhea Ripley confirms her romance with Jey Uso, the WWE's plans for Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa's steel cage match. A major star is close to signing a new deal with WWE. The 5-second squash match on SmackDown makes the backstage angry, shocking top names in Vince McMahon's controversial documentary. Triple H bids farewell to WWE SmackDown on Fox. Roman Reigns' WWE return date leaked. Let's dive right in. The WWE's plans for Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa's steel cage match. Cody Rhodes kicked off this week's episode of WWE SmackDown, but was quickly interrupted by Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline. The American Nightmare defeated Kevin Owens this past Saturday night at Bash in Berlin to retain the undisputed WWE Championship. Sikoa said he wanted a shot at the title, but Cody Rhodes suggested he face Jacob Fatu instead. SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis then appeared and announced that Cody Rhodes would defend the title against Solo Sikoa in a steel cage match next Friday on the Blue Brand's premiere on the USA Network. Here are the rumored outcomes of the steel cage match between Rhodes and Sikoa next week on WWE SmackDown. Number 1. Solo Sikoa could win the undisputed WWE Championship next week on SmackDown. Solo Sikoa has relied on the Bloodline for success, but he may not have that option next week in the steel cage match. Rhodes also seemed to underestimate Sikoa tonight by suggesting Jacob Fatu deserved the title match instead. Sikoa may have taken that personally and could be determined to win the match on his own next Friday. The 31-year-old could pull off a major upset by dethroning Cody Rhodes, which would also establish him as the new tribal chief of the Bloodline. Number 2. Cody Rhodes could defeat Solo Sikoa once again. Cody Rhodes has been feuding with the new Bloodline for months on WWE SmackDown. He got the better of Solo Sikoa last month at SummerSlam after Roman Reigns made his unexpected return. Next week on SmackDown, Rhodes will be locked inside a steel cage with Sikoa. He could defeat the leader of the Bloodline again and then focus on a new opponent after the title match. If Sikoa loses to Rhodes a second time, it's likely he won't be given another title match for a while. Number 3. Jacob Fatu could betray Solo Sikoa. Jacob Fatu has already acknowledged Solo Sikoa as his tribal chief, but his loyalty could be tested after Cody Rhodes' comments tonight on SmackDown. Rhodes suggested he defend the title against Jacob Fatu instead of Solo Sikoa, which could spark jealousy. Fatu might decide to step out of Sikoa's shadow next week and betray the leader of the Bloodline. The former MLW star has made quite an impression on SmackDown since his debut earlier this year and might be ready to become a singles star. Number 4. Roman Reigns could return to cost Solo Sikoa. Roman Reigns took a long break before returning last month at WWE SummerSlam, where he cost Solo Sikoa his title shot against Cody Rhodes. However, the Bloodline got their revenge on the August 16th edition of WWE SmackDown by putting Reigns through the announce table. The head of the table hasn't appeared on WWE television since then, but there are rumors he will be on next week's show. Reigns could show up during the steel cage match and attack Solo Sikoa again. After the Bloodline's assault last month, Reigns is likely seeking revenge, and costing Sikoa the title again would be an ideal way to get back at his former faction. Number 5. Both stars could escape the steel cage at the same time. The rivalry between Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes has become quite personal and could continue after next week's steel cage match. Both stars might escape the cage at the same time, leading to a third match in the feud. If this controversial finish happens, Sikoa would have a valid reason to demand another shot at the undisputed WWE Championship. SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis could then book Rhodes and Sikoa to face off again at WWE Bad Blood next month in Atlanta, Georgia. A major star is close to signing new deal with WWE. A major WWE superstar may be close to signing a new deal with the company. The star, who wasn't scheduled for a match at WWE Bash in Berlin, is reportedly Sheamus. According to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, Sheamus and WWE are nearing a new contract. The report suggests the deal is either nearly finalized or already completed. It's also noted that WWE internally believes Sheamus will remain with the promotion for another 3 to 5 years. Recently, the veteran competed in an Intercontinental Championship tournament on Raw to determine Braun Breaker's next challenger. Sheamus faced Braun Strowman and Ludwig Kaiser in a triple threat match, but lost after being attacked by Pete Dunne. Braun Strowman won the match and will now compete against Pete Dunne, Ilya Dragunov, and Jey Uso in a fatal four-way match next Monday on Raw. The winner will earn a title match against Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker. Pete Dunne recently criticized Sheamus for mocking him by using the name Butch. Dunn and Sheamus were once part of the Brawling Brutes faction with Ridge Holland, but the group disbanded last year. Dunn recently attacked Sheamus on Raw, though Sheamus defeated him in a singles match on the August 19th episode of Raw. In a recent WWE Raw vignette, Dunn called out Sheamus for continuing to refer to him as Butch, claiming the name nearly ruined his career. "I've been in this business long enough to know you win some, you lose some. That's part of the job. But for Sheamus, that scumbag, to still call me Butch and laugh at something that nearly ruined my career. This is all I've got, man. He knows that. All I've ever been, all I ever will be, is a fighter. To be reduced to that name shows what kind of person he really is. I don't deserve it, and you all know that. But after all the setbacks and betrayals, you know what I do deserve?" Pete Dunne said. Dunn went on hiatus for several months after losing to Edge last August on SmackDown. He returned to the ring on the April 15th, 2024 episode of Raw, defeating Ivar in a singles match. The 5-second squash match on SmackDown makes the backstage angry. Things took a controversial turn on WWE SmackDown this week when a major star lost just 5 seconds into his debut match. According to a new report, the backstage reaction to this loss hasn't been entirely positive. Giovanni Vinci, a well-known name in the company, was previously part of the dominant Imperium group before being kicked out earlier this year. He then moved to SmackDown, but disappeared from TV for a while. Recently, videos had been building anticipation for his debut on the Blue brand. However, when Vinci finally made his debut, it was disappointing. He faced Apollo Crews but didn't manage any offense. Crews pinned him from behind the moment the bell rang, ending the match in about 5 seconds. WWE is calling it a 3-second match, but the actual time was closer to 5 seconds. Either way, it was surprisingly short for such a hyped debut. According to WrestleVotes, some members of the creative team were unhappy with how Vinci was booked. "I'm told there are a few key figures within creative that absolutely hated the direction on the Giovanni Vinci angle tonight." SmackDown, the report stated. Though Vinci's debut didn't go as expected, it remains to be seen how things will unfold for him next on SmackDown. Shocking top names in Vince McMahon's controversial documentary. WWE is gearing up for the Netflix era of its flagship show, Monday Night Raw, as the show is set to move to the streaming platform in January. In a separate major event, Netflix will debut its Vince McMahon docuseries, originally announced in October 2020. The series, titled Mr. McMahon, will consist of 6 one-hour episodes premiering on Wednesday, September 25th. The trailer features appearances from several big names, including Vince McMahon, Triple H, Hulk Hogan, John Cena, The Rock, Bret Hart, Steve Austin, Bruce Pritchard, Jimmy Hart, Eric Bischoff, and others. The interviews reportedly come from over 200 hours of conversations with McMahon's family, business associates, top WWE stars, journalists, and Vince himself. Despite early concerns about what might be covered, particularly due to WWE's close ties with Netflix, the docuseries includes significant coverage of controversial moments in McMahon's career. According to a report from Post Wrestling, the series opens with a note explaining that interviews were conducted before key events from 2022 to 2024, such as Vince's resignation and return, the WWE-UFC merger, and the Janelle Grant allegations. Confirmed interviews for the series feature Hogan, The Rock, Triple H, Cena, Austin, Bret Hart, Bischoff, Linda McMahon, Shane McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Paul Heyman, The Undertaker, Cody Rhodes, and Wendy Richter. The docuseries covers McMahon's life, from his childhood to his early days in WWE and his purchase of the company from his father. It explores key moments like the rise of Hulkamania, the launch of WrestleMania, the business downturn of the early 1990s, and various scandals. Controversial figures such as Phil Mushnick, known for his anti-wrestling stance, discuss events like the 1992 underage Ring Boys scandal and the 1993 federal steroid trial. Archived footage includes interviews with Tom Cole, who accused Pat Patterson of sexual misconduct at 14, and Rita Chatterton, who accused McMahon of rape in 1986. The docuseries also features footage from the 1992 episode of The Phil Donahue Show about sexual harassment claims in WWE. Tony Atlas appears in a controversial interview where he accuses Patterson of groping him in the locker room, laughing at the situation, and suggesting McMahon wouldn't have cared. The finale focuses on the Grant allegations. Notably, WWE has no production credit in the series and is only acknowledged for providing archived footage, despite WWE President Nick Khan previously mentioning WWE Studios as a co-producer when the project was first announced. Netflix's recent premiere announcement did not reference WWE's film studio, despite the groundbreaking deal Khan had originally touted in 2020. Triple H bids farewell to WWE SmackDown on Fox. WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H shared a heartfelt message after the latest episode of SmackDown marked the end of its 5-year run on Fox. In 2018, WWE signed a deal with Fox to air SmackDown, but with tonight's episode, that partnership has come to a close. After the show ended, Triple H took to X, formerly Twitter, to express his gratitude to Fox. Here's what he wrote. "Thank you to Fox for an unforgettable 5 years of broadcast television, pushing at WWE further into the mainstream. SmackDown. SmackDown's 5 years on Fox featured some of the most memorable and iconic moments in the show's history. Highlights include the Bloodline storyline, the NXT invasion, and other major events. However, this era also had its low points. One of the most controversial moments came during the premiere episode of SmackDown on Fox, when Brock Lesnar quickly defeated Kofi Kingston to win the WWE Championship, ending Kofi's months-long reign without any follow-up. Rhea Ripley confirms her romance with Jey Uso. Rhea Ripley continued to fuel rumors of a potential romance with a popular WWE superstar through her social media activity. The former Women's World Champion recently teamed up with Damian Priest to defeat Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan at WWE Bash in Berlin. Jey Uso, who has publicly expressed his admiration for Ripley, seems to have caught her attention as well. After Priest and Uso defeated the Judgment Day's Finn Balor and JD McDonough on this past Monday's episode of Raw, Ripley joined the duo in celebrating, and even did Jey Uso's signature Yeet chant. Today, Ripley retweeted fan art of herself licking Jey Uso, further teasing the potential connection. WWE has since released a compilation video titled Flirty Jey Uso and Rhea Ripley Moments on its official YouTube channel, which has already garnered nearly 500,000 views. Ripley acknowledged the video on her Instagram story, commenting, "Tactical flirting to attraction flirting. Emotional roller coaster." Wrestling veteran Vince Russo has expressed dissatisfaction with Rhea Ripley's recent booking, particularly an injury angle on this past Monday's Raw. During the opening segment, Dominic Mysterio lured Ripley into a trap, allowing Liv Morgan to attack her from behind. Ripley's foot became caught in the ropes, and Morgan stomped on it before Damian Priest intervened. On Sports Quieta, wrestling's Legion of Raw show, Russo criticized the decision to show Ripley in need of medical attention, questioning why WWE would portray someone they've built up as a beast in such a vulnerable position. You want to talk about shoddy freaking booking? Rhea Ripley is supposed to be this beast who needs medical attention because her foot got caught in the ropes? How many times did you see China get medical attention fighting guys? And again, this isn't on Rhea Ripley. This is on creative. You're painting the picture of big bad Rhea Ripley, and she needs medical attention and is on a crutch because she got her ankle caught in the ropes, said Russo. Ripley and Dominic Mysterio were previously involved in a storyline relationship, which ended last month when Mysterio betrayed her at WWE SummerSlam, helping Liv Morgan retain the Women's World Championship. Roman Reigns' WWE return date leaked. Roman Reigns' return date has seemingly been revealed. The veteran was last seen on the August 16th edition of WWE SmackDown, where he was attacked by the Bloodline. During SummerSlam last month, Solo Sikoa challenged Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship in Cleveland, Ohio. Reigns made a surprise return during the match and cost Sikoa his chance at the title. This marked Roman's first appearance since losing the championship to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. Following that, the Bloodline exacted revenge on Reigns by powerbombing him through the announce table, and he hasn't been seen since. SmackDown is moving from Fox to the USA Network next Friday, and USA Network recently shared a promotional graphic featuring Reigns to promote the show. The OTC has spoken. SmackDown returns home to USA Network on September 13th. Acknowledge it. During Reigns' absence, Solo Sikoa has taken charge, declaring himself the new tribal chief. He expelled Jimmy Uso from the Bloodline after Jimmy's loss to Jey Uso at WrestleMania, and ordered an attack on Paul Heyman during the June 28th episode of SmackDown at Madison Square Garden. Sikoa also brought Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa into the Bloodline while Roman has been away. Wrestling veteran Vince Russo recently commented on the storyline, suggesting that Roman Reigns and the Bloodline haven't significantly boosted viewership. On Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw, Russo stated that while the storyline has captivated wrestling fans, it hasn't been enough to bring in new viewers. Let me tell you something, the Bloodline and Roman Reigns, that wasn't good enough for them to draw new viewers to the show. Roman Reigns and the Bloodline was not going to take it from 2 million to 3.6 million people. Solo Sikoa has already declared his intention to challenge Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship again. It will be interesting to see how things unfold when Roman Reigns makes his return to SmackDown next Friday.